2023 to be a year of significant declines in inflation, and it's actually our job to make sure that that's the case. But I would tell you that...
Hello, welcome to Financial Stockholm. Today is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. I'm Christopher Crystal, and this is what we're seeing in Scandinavia, the press and the news, and how you could interpret it and maybe use it hopefully helpful in your thinking and thoughts about the market and your discussions with your investment advisor to figure out what you're doing in the market. So in Sweden, we had a lot of focus really on external markets, the US, and what's happening there. We had the Fed, so we saw the rate increase, and then we have the Fed notes and the presentation last night in Washington by Powell. And then you also had the SCOTUS, giving the State of the Union address. And so we've had a lot of focus there. And we said the U.S. today is really kind of it's an up and down market. It's kind of a so-so flat. But on Thursday, we'll get the rates in Sweden. Hopefully, we only get a 50 basis point increase, which would be in line with the ECB. And we're looking at the inflation figures, and that's going to be the key. We've had a warm winter, so our electricity prices they've been coming down. Diesel prices have also been coming down, as well as gasoline. Food, we still have a bit of an issue. And there's food chains that are still hiking rates or prices, but we'll see. And so we haven't seen the electricity payment yet from the government to consumers, but I think that's part of the whole inflation figure. They don't want to see more spending. And so probably we get 50 basis point hike, and the Fed will probably continue through the rest of the year at 25. And the key is inflation. There will likely be no rate cuts this year. I'm into this, but the key to this will all be the inflation, because we've effectively been in a recession for at least the last 6 months, if not the last 12. And when you look at the growth rates and when you look at what's happened in the economies and the projected growth rates, this has already been a recession, and we're maybe already into the soft landing. So I think you'll see a continued positive upward swing in the market. That's all my own opinion and my thoughts, and not telling you how to invest, but just my thoughts. So when we look at our earnings here in Scandinavia, the big names are out. We had like Vestas coming out with numbers, and their order inflow or order backlog will be at about 50 million. But in general, if you look at their income and their revenue, it really is not very impressive. So this coming year will be about as much as the previous year. And they're scrapping their dividend. And so you have to really kind of scratch your head and wonder what's going on with Vestas and why they can't do better now. Is it the competition? Is it because they're delivering a product that really doesn't do well? What is the real holdback? And why are they having these problems? And so they're looking negative. ICA came out, they're losing market share, and that's not really that surprising, especially in this high inflationary market. We've had a few new entrants to the Swedish market, and you've had a few other chains growing and taking market share from ICA. And then so CostCo came into the Swedish market. They opened up just outside of the Stockholm area, and the trend looks to continue, where these membership clubs will probably continue. And but another way to kind of easily gain in the Swedish market would be offer produce, your fruit and vegetables without mold on them and without being mushy, and I think you'd be able to gain inside. So that's an area where it didn't do as well. And then, of course, the banks are coming in, and they're doing relatively well. They'll continue to do well because the rates are going up. Handelsbanken came in, and their mortgage rate, they have a significant share of the mortgage rates and market, so they're doing well. NATO looks to move forward. It's terrible what's happened in Turkey. you're looking at around 11,000 people have died. And I don't know if that figure includes Syria as well. I would assume the figure's higher. And Sweden will be sending an aid package down to Turkey to help and assist with the tragedy that's ongoing. Whether that plays in for us within NATO and our application, it's not entirely clear. But we will see the war in Ukraine continue. You have Zelensky is in England today. He flew into Stansted to speak with Rishi Sunak, and he wants to get training for the jets of Ukrainian soldiers. And this is just a sign that this war is going to continue. And if you want more proof that the war is just going to continue, you have the former Israeli Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, who said that the West scrapped plans to negotiate a peace with Putin. And that happened with Johnson when Johnson flew over in April. So it's very clear that there is a clear sign and a desire to have a war. So that's unfortunate, but that's the way we're looking. You see that H&M is buying back. You see the actual family members, the Pearsons, are buying back shares. So overall, we do look to see the Swedish market, but I would look at the NASDAQ for the Swedish market to see how it would trade, and it'll trade generally in high correlation with the NASDAQ market. So, what do we really see that could also continue to affect the Swedish market? Well, like I said, the U.S. market, the earnings are coming in the U.S. and the dollar is hurting them to some degree. But I think a lot more of it's going to be the inflation, the recessionary figures like credit card debt, the lending, secondary or used car sales. There's a lot of figures there talking about inflation and how the economy is slow to grow. And the wage increase has not been very strong. So that'll be more of the steer for the Swedish market than other issues, because our politicians have yet to come out with our energy plans and so forth. So we're looking at we have to deal with our criminality and terrorism. We've been warned by the FBI that we're at risk for outside of a restaurant in Stockholm that's now being labeled as terrorism. And they're saying that there was a Turkish individual with Kurdish heritage, and he was shooting outside of a bar. But a lot of this tends to take place in the highly corrupt restaurant market in Sweden. That's been gang infiltrated for many, many years. So these will be issues that will affect us, but I don't think significantly. So those are our thoughts today, and I hope this helps what to look for in Scandinavia, and of course also to look at the oils. You even had in the Biden speech last night in the State of the Union, him talking about oil, and you have to invest, and it's going to be around for more than 10 years. So this for more oil investments, as well as I think there will be more windmill investments or wind turbine investments. So those are our thoughts. I hope that helps. And so hopefully you've liked and subscribed. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.